Congratulations, President Trump. Your bold decision to target Iran's nuclear facilities with the awesome and righteous might of the United States will change history. In Operation Rising Lion, Israel has done truly amazing things. But in tonight's action against Iran's nuclear facilities, America has been truly unsurpassed. It has done what no other country on earth could do. History will record that President Trump acted to deny the world's most dangerous regime the world's most dangerous weapons. His leadership today has created a pivot of history that can help lead the Middle East and beyond to a future of prosperity and peace. President Trump and I often say, peace through strength. First comes strength, then comes peace. And tonight, President Trump and the United States acted with a lot of strength. President Trump, I thank you. The people of Israel thank you. The forces of civilization thank you. God bless America. God bless Israel. And may God bless our unshakable alliance, our unbreakable faith.
Okay, guys, so I'm sorry you have to lay eyes on the devil himself, guys. So this is Netenyahu thanking his employee, Donald Trump, our perverted, moronic president, who's definitely on the Epstein file. Look at that picture, man, with him and Epstein with his shirt off, molesting I don't know how old she is, with Donald Trump sitting right next to him. So Trump. They have some serious blackmail on the guy, guys, and they kind of got him to, pretty much do what they want him to do. He needed to appease the lobby that gave him about $300 million to pay off his debt from all his court cases. So he needed to appease them, and he decided to use bunker buster bombs to target a facility in Iran called Pedo. Pretty much an empty facility because they emptied the centrifuges weeks ago, right? So he bombed six bunker buster bombs, which is pretty much equivalent to like the power of an atomic bomb, really. The massive ordnance penetrator, 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs. I mean, he pretty much nuked it, right? But the kicker is the centrifuges and all the important shit is buried 800 meters below the ground, and these motherfuckers go only about 30 meters below the ground. So the ironic thing is the guy literally attacked empty facilities, right? They evacuated and removed the centrifuges weeks ago. So he needed to appease the Israel lobby. He said, "Let me get this done and make it. Let's Hollywood film this shit like it's like some big thing that he just did, right?" Which the Iranians already came out and said like the guy literally didn't do shit. So now it gives them an excuse to pull out of the NFP, the Non-Proliferation Treaty, the NPT. My bad. And they're already coming out saying like, "Hey, we're gonna start enriching even." By the way, the whole nuclear enrichment shit is complete BS. They already have the nukes. Several Pentagon officials have come out in recent years. A few people on the right-wing conservative media have already, confirmed this. Alex Jones being one of them. He said that, he even confronted a Pentagon official about that, and they told him, you weren't supposed to know that, but they already have the nuclear fissile material. They just kind of have to put it on the warhead, which China and Russia could assist them with doing that. And if they're cornered, they'll start launching nuclear missiles right in the heart of Tel Aviv. Or even worse, for Trump, right? The several U.S. bases that don't have an Iron Dome, don't have a David Sling, don't have an Arrow, don't have a THAAD, don't have any of these air defense systems, completely vulnerable, right? And he can launch those strikes and completely wipe out all the facilities in the Middle East stationed with about 50,000 troops. And that'll drag America to a full-blown war, a quagmire, really, in the Middle East, which more than likely there's no way of getting anything done without boots on the ground. And China and Russia, man, oh God, they are seething at the mouth at the absolute mediocrity and moronic behavior by Donald Trump, guys. They are seething at the, you know why? Because they're gonna, if the U.S. gets involved in this war, in this quagmire, right, it is gonna weaken them so much, man. And China is just absolutely ecstatic that this dumbass has been purchased by the Israel lobby, and he's doing exactly what they want him to do, you know. But, hey, man, you know, he's provoking them now. He has no leverage in any future negotiations. They are pulling out of the NPT. They more than likely have the bomb. And they're going to have to answer back. And what better answer can they have than choking the Strait of Hormuz, which, you know, destroys the global economy, and targeting oil depots in the Gulf, right, which raise our gas prices through the roof and destroys our economy, and continuously launching missiles into Israel, which cost Israel $200 million a day to defending against missiles that they can't even intercept. And they want to do this on a long-term basis. Absolute fucking moron, right? And, you know, there's no turning back from this, guys. Like, the only thing that can really help the situation is if Iran thinks rationally and punishes Israel, right, instead of going for America. But I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, even if they do go for that, if they do attack the U.S. bases, if they do attack U.S. assets, and that drags America into this war, you know, this is just it's just strategically is really bad for America, guys. I mean, you got to think, like, there are larger adversaries out there, man. There's China, right? You think they won't be happy seeing America's being dragged into a quagmire in the Middle East that most Americans can't even point where these places are on the map or even understand the culture or the different ideologies? And come on, man. You know what I mean? So this guy's an absolute moron. Let's play Scott Ritter's reaction to this, because I think he kind of had a good reaction here. Let's get into it.
I mean, according to the president, this was the biggest, grandest thing that's ever happened in the world. It's a magnificent victory for the United States that has totally obliterated the Iranian nuclear program and has demonstrated the massive power of the American Air Force. But then I take a look at the reality of it, that he bombed 3 sites, 2 of which, Isfahan and Natanz, had been previously bombed by Israel, destroyed, and the material already evacuated. And the 3rd site, Pedo, which people had been anticipating to be struck for some time now, and there's nothing in it. It's empty. And I have to ask myself, where's the beef? What was done here? This wasn't a serious military attack. I have planned serious military attacks. We bomb targets that have legitimate purpose, and we want to put munitions on the target in a way that achieve a discernible outcome that furthers the military objectives of whatever campaign we're operating in support of. There's no way anybody can tell me that sending a B-2 bomber, the most advanced weapon system in the United States arsenal, packing 2 GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrators to bomb empty facilities furthers the national security interests of the United States. There was nothing in Natanz. There was nothing in Isfahan. And yet we put American lives at risk, and we put at risk Iranian lives on the ground to do this grand act of theater so Donald Trump could have his TV moment with J.D. Vance and Hegseth, behind him, staring resolutely into the camera as if they have accomplished something the equivalent of winning World War II. Where's the beef? Nothing. Fair, though. According to the Iranians, despite the fact that we dropped six massive ordnance penetrators on this facility, the main facility is intact, and only an exit and an entrance have been damaged. There's 5 entrances to the facility, so it's not as though they sealed it off. Where's the beef? What was accomplished here? Why did the president do this? According to news reports, the United States signaled to the Iranians that this was it. It was a limited strike. There was to be no further action tonight. Now, the president's rhetoric in his statement to the address suggested that if Iran didn't surrender and seek peace, that there would be additional action. But for the moment, this American attack against Iran seems designed to limit Iranian retaliatory possibilities. First of all, it appears that no regional military assets were used in this strike. This appears to be not something planned by Central Command, CENTCOM, but rather Strategic Command, perhaps facilitated or assisted by Pacific Command. That means that American military assets outside of the theater were used. Therefore, none of the assets currently within striking range of Iranian missiles are implicated. This could inhibit or at least put the brakes on any Iranian retaliation, which would be good news, because if the Iranians don't retaliate in a manner that threatens American life, then maybe we don't see this escalation taking place. But you have to ask yourself, why did the president do this? And the answer is not to further national security interests, but to save face. This is about Donald Trump trying to preserve the legacy of Donald Trump. He had gotten himself into hot water by aligning himself with an Israeli surprise attack against Iran, which went badly. The Iranians have retaliated and they're doing significant harm against Israel, and nobody's been able to do anything to eliminate the Iranian nuclear program, which the president said has to be eliminated. Iran didn't yield to the threats put by the president or the demands of unconditional surrender. So Trump was left in a situation where he looked like a fool. And the only way out was to do the most foolish thing imaginable, launching a bombing attack against Iran. But then he did something even more foolish. He bombed empty targets, which appears to be the most sage and wise decision of all, because now he has created at least the potential of a window of opportunity to disengage from the disaster he had created. I don't know what the future is going to be. I don't know how this is going to play out. But I do know that when we take a look at this greatest military victory of all military victories that Donald Trump is trumpeting, there ain't no beef there. Where's the beef?
All right, man. So, yeah, I mean, like, guys, he's trying to save face for his donors, and Netenyahu pretty much telling them, like, hey, bro, you either do this or all hell's going to break loose on your ass, right? Because we do know that no one gets in office unless they have some type of weird blackmail on them, which we know Donald Trump's susceptible to all types of shit. I mean, the guy's, he was Epstein's best friend, as stated by Epstein himself, right? So, and not only that, like, you know, again, there could be potential false flags that people have been talking about. Like, hey, you know, certain false flags that'll force the Trump administration to go into war with Iran, put them on their heels. Like, you know, if they end up doing like a USS Liberty situation, right, which could essentially force a very impulsive moron like Donald Trump to declare war on Iran, which essentially he'd have to declare war on like 5 other countries, by the way, because there's 5 other countries that are we got Yemen, we got Lebanon, we got Iraq, we got Syria, not Syria. They've been compromised. There's the whole axis of resistance, and then you have possible intervention by Pakistan, but they're kind of letting them down with the recent visit with Donald Trump, but there could be a possible intervention by Pakistan, and then obviously you have the Taliban, and then you have all that, and then you do have the assistance, which Putin and Xi Jinping have already stated that they will be assisting Iran, because Putin even stated it himself. He's like, Iran and Russia are at war with the same groups of people, right? So there could be some assistance there, whether it be logistically or them continuously arming them with weaponry, missiles, ballistic missiles, drones, etc. Really, all Iran needs is their ballistic missiles. That way, they could continue to attack Tel Aviv, and they need they're about their missiles, man. So their missiles are gonna, if they run out, they're definitely gonna get some from China and Russia, because they make all the Shahed drones for Russia. They literally produce them for them. Like the Russians buy. Most of the dangerous attacks happening in Ukraine are with those Shahed drones that Iran manufactures, right? So they have like the strategic military alliance deal with Russia. Nothing to where Russia's going to like have boots on the ground, defending Iran or anything like that, but they will provide them with the weapons that they need. And you have a nation of 90 million people, which that other moron, Ted Cruz, who's a clown, didn't even know that, right? So I'm glad all these fuckers are getting exposed, like that fucking moron Ted Cruz. Like the fact that this guy even thought about running for president is unreal to me, guys. Absolute idiot. He like, man, Tucker Carlson cornered his ass and put him in, like, he literally ended his career. Let's just be honest here. And so now we're getting statements coming from the foreign minister of Iran, Abbas Araghchi. So he's saying that, we reserve the right to strike the U.S. under the UN Charter Self-Defense Clause. He's also traveling to Russia, again, to possibly secure, certain things with Russia as far as military equipment, really. And let's watch. And by the way, this is the end result of the 6 bunker buster bombs that Trump used. Like literally the earth just sucked all the damage. No serious. Here goes. Breaking satellite images show no serious damage after Trump bombing of the Fordo nuclear facilities. Only the entrances to the underground sites were damaged. So they said the entrances and the exits were damaged and everything was intact. And we know the Iranians aren't stupid. They removed all their centrifuge and all the essential shit to other areas in Iran. Iran, by the way, is like 75 times larger than Israel. So it's not a small country. I bet Ted Cruz probably didn't even know that. Let's get into this little video here, and then there's kind of like a possible scenario of how this could possibly turn ugly.
What happens if the US targets Iran's Fordo enrichment facility? This wouldn't just be a military strike, but a very real risk of an unprecedented nuclear disaster in the Middle East. The Fordo facility lies south of the capital, Tehran, near the holy city of Qom. It's built under a mountain, more than 80 meters deep underground. It's here that Iran enriches uranium to high levels, up to 90%, which is close to the threshold required to produce a nuclear weapon. If this facility were bombed and the stored nuclear materials detonated, the consequences would be catastrophic. Within a 1 kilometer radius, radiation levels would be lethal within hours. Within 5 kilometers, people would experience severe radiation sickness, bleeding, vomiting, organ failure. Up to 20 kilometers away, increased risk of cancer, birth defects, and long-term contamination of water.
By the way, like, no, the IAEA and all these other organizations in Iran came out and said that there's no radiation leakage because there was nothing there, right? But this is essentially if there was a radiation leakage.
Water and soil. Tens of thousands could be forced to evacuate for years. And the worst part? Winds could carry radioactive dust to Qom, Tehran, and even neighbouring countries. If such an attack occurred, Iran would likely consider it a declaration of war and could retaliate by launching hundreds or even thousands of missiles at Israel and American bases. This wouldn't be a limited operation, but the start of a dangerous regional escalation. Is the world truly prepared to face such consequences?
All right, that was kind of whatever, but look, they have something. Iran has something that they don't even have to use a nuke, guys. They have something much more powerful, and that is to choke that Strait of Hormuz and attack the oil depots in the Gulf, and that'll really have a drastic strain on our economy. You're talking about like depression type situations, guys, like the 1930s, right? If they do it successfully, like it'll be absolutely disastrous, which I don't think. And I mean, we're gonna have to see how this plays out, guys. So one thing that Trump did was he did, let's just give it up to him. He played it slick. So he made an attack that didn't necessarily damage Iran to a huge extent, and he was able to appease, the Israel lobby. He did the attack. He appeased the war hawks. And it puts Iran in a situation where, he didn't necessarily destroy the facility. So what should we do? We're not going to go all out. Let's do something smaller and focus on flattening Tel Aviv, right? I don't know. We're going to see how this is going to play out, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment sections down below, man. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.